Well, good evening, everyone. This is Mike Bass back again with another forecast update for you for this July the 5th, 2025. I'm hoping everybody had a great Saturday out there so far, but it is a great Saturday evening. Hope everybody continues to stay safe and well, and also enjoy the weather, because it's the only weather you got. Okay, in tonight's video, we're going to be taking a look at Tropical Storm Chantal. As you can see here is Chantal getting a lot of the convection to the east of the center. The center of rotation should be somewhere about right in this vicinity here, but you can see most of the activity is well off to the east, but it should start to get a little bit more act together, and as it continues to push on off to the north and west. But you can see there's a lot of deep convection. You can see a lot of the clouds of thunderstorm pretty tall in this here system here, getting a lot of convection around the east and northeastern side of the center. Has a lot of gusty winds. The latest statistics at 5 p.m. this afternoon showed that winds were 45 miles an hour, gusting to maybe up to 55 to 60, maybe even 65 miles an hour in some squalls, but we'll continue to monitor that and see. Alright, but let's take a look at the forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center. We're going to jump back to it, and we'll show you the forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center on Tropical Storm Chantal. Let's take a look at that. Should be coming up here. Okay, this is at 5 p.m. this afternoon. You can see here's the tropical storm force winds here in the yellow, but you can see here at the center, most of it's to the east, northeast, and southeast of the center. Still projected to make landfall somewhere just around the Charleston area, just slightly north of there, and then kind of trying to move to the northwest toward the I-95 corridor, and then kind of move up the I-95 corridor into eastern North Carolina. If you're tracking the system at home, it's located in latitude 31.9 north, longitude 78.7 west. Maximum sustained winds are near 45 miles an hour with higher gusts. Movements to the north at 7 miles per hour. Classified as a tropical storm with winds of 39 to 73 miles per hour. So, but according to the storm, her National Hurricane Center, it still could gather some strength before it make landfall. So it could still reach 50 to maybe even 60 miles per hour before it make landfall in South Carolina. The slower it goes, the more strength it can build up, and there's no wind shear to weaken it. So it could get a little stronger than 50, maybe, like I said, maybe 50 to 60 miles per hour storm as it moves into the area. Alright, you can see we have tropical storm watches in the yellow from around the Charleston area down toward the Hilton Head Island area, and then from the blue is from around Georgetown County to Myrtle to Horry County, all the way up around the Wilmington, North Carolina area. You can see we have tropical storm force winds there in that vicinity, but tropical storm force winds could move a little bit inland, so maybe some inland areas, also maybe some flash flooding, heavy rain could occur over eastern South Carolina and also eastern North Carolina, so would not be surprised to see some flooding issues as that storm moves on shore, as some heavy precipitation and the heavier bands moves into this region. So, but everybody across South Carolina will not see rain. Certain areas, I'm gonna say from Charlotte to Columbia to Orangeburg, points east, you have a better shot at getting precipitation. Anybody west of that line, a little less precipitation. But we'll take a look at the Wilmington weather radar at the end of this forecast video, and we will show you where the current position, and you'll get a chance to see it from the Doppler radar system out of Wilmington, North Carolina. Alright, you can see here's the forecast spaghetti-o model. You can see it right here, moving to the current position here, moves it towards the South Carolina coast. Here's Charleston, should be just right in that vicinity here, just a little bit north of Charleston, but I'm expecting it somewhere between Charleston and Georgetown where it's going to make landfall. May make landfall around Mechanicsville, because it seems like that's about where all these tropical storms make landfall here in the recent years. So it could be around Mechanicsville or anywhere, but like I said, somewhere around Georgetown to Charleston, somewhere in that vicinity. We will continue to monitor that. But anyway, you can see it moves inland, then it moves across North Carolina, back out to sea. You can see here's Nova Scotia, here's St. John's Island, as it continues to race on off to the east in that vicinity. Let's take a look at the intensity guidance of this system. Alright, you can see it got 40 knot winds equal to 40 miles per hour. You can see some goes up almost about 45 knots, so that makes it about 50 miles per hour, maybe even 60. So we'll continue to monitor that, but then you can see it drop dramatically over the next 24 to 36 hours as it moves over into the Carolinas. You know, last night I showed you some of the models showed it kind of regenerating back into a tropical storm as it moves over the Atlantic coastal water. You can see that the models has dropped it all, but it look like there's a possibility it could, but like I said, that was only about a 20% chance of that happening right now. The most of the models now, maybe about 10% of that happening as it moves back off the Virginia coast. So right now we're just going to look at it just kind of weakening over North Carolina and then eventually just dissipating altogether. So, but the remnants of it could just race on off. Like I said, the computer model racing it off across along the Atlantic northeastern U.S. coast, St. John's, and also Nova Scotia coastline as well, as it continues to race on in that direction. Excuse me. Alright, if you have not subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe. Also like these videos, share these videos, and let's continue to get the show on the road here, folks. Here's your forecast for your Sunday. You can see thunderstorms and showers from Pennsylvania to Maryland and North Carolina to the Carolina, Georgia, the Florida Key, Atlantic coastal waters, also in the Atlantic, also the northern Gulf, back to Texas, to New Mexico, Arizona, all the way up to North and South Dakota, a little bit in South Canada, then again from Arkansas to Missouri to Michigan to Lake Huron, all the way over into Ottawa and Toronto, Canada, also in the portion of New York State, Maine, and also in the New Brunswick area as well. We got some heavy rain and flash flooding right along the center of rotation of that storm for portions of South Carolina and North Carolina, central Texas, where the flooding has been devastating in some areas. Expect that to continue on your Sunday. Then we got some severe weather from Nebraska to Kansas, also in the portion of Colorado regions as well. Otherwise, expect dry high pressure to remain in charge of your local forecast area for your Sunday. Alright, let's move on to your Monday forecast. You can see we got thunderstorms and showers from New Brunswick to Maine to New York State to Virginia. Here's the post-tropical cyclone Chantal, located Monday over Virginia, northern North Carolina. Then we got more general more showers and storms from South Carolina, North Carolina to Georgia to Florida, Florida Key, Atlantic coastal waters, much of the Gulf of Mexico as well. Also in the Mexico, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, through the Dakotas, Minnesota, up here around Lake Superior, southern Canada, through Missouri, all the way up into Ottawa and Toronto, Canada regions. Also Pennsylvania and Ohio areas as well. Got some severe weather with Nebraska, portions of Kansas, and also northeastern Colorado regions as well. Otherwise, expect dry high pressure to remain in charge of your local forecast area for your Monday. Alright, let's move on to the current watches warning advisory map you're locating across the nation. Alright, you can see here we got some heat advisories up here in portion of Maine, down in New Hampshire, Vermont, also New York State, also in the Massachusetts, Connecticut region. Air quality alerts in Connecticut, down to eastern Pennsylvania, around Rhode Island, Delaware, New Jersey, Maryland area. Also we got the tropical storm warnings in the coastal waters off the South and North Carolina coast, even a little bit inland. Flood watches for southeastern North Carolina, wind advisories over late wind advisory, over South Carolina and eastern Georgia. Still got the flash flood watches, warnings, and advisories for central Texas. Excessive heat watches in effect for portions of southwestern Arizona and one county to the north. Severe thunderstorm watches and warnings for Montana. More watches, severe thunderstorm watches for South Dakota and also Wyoming. And then we got a few pockets. You can see pockets of severe thunderstorm warnings across portions of New Mexico to Colorado, also in the portions of northern Michigan. You got more air quality alerts in Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, and that's pretty much it. Alright, we got the small craft advisory, gale warning from Maine, all the way down toward the Boston area, Outer Banks of North Carolina. Like I said, you got tropical storm warnings along the coastal Carolinas. More small crack advisory gale warning from Southern California to Washington State, around the Hawaiian Chain Island, around the Alaska region, inland. Red flag warnings, and also heat advisories in effect for the central and northern areas of Alaska. Alright, let's move on to the Storm Prediction Center outlook. This is for your Sunday. We got a marginal risk for central and northern Maine, right over here around the Wilmington area, a little bit in northeast South Carolina, just southeast of Raleigh as well. We got more marginal risk for a portion of Lubbock, Texas to Amarillo, all the way up to Rapid City, Casper, Wyoming. Then a slight risk from Liberal to Garden City, Colby, McCook, and all the way into portions of Nebraska as well. General thunderstorm elsewhere from Maine all the way to Florida, to Texas, to North Dakota, and also toward Arizona and New Mexico. Tornado probability is going to look like this. We got 2% down here across the Carolinas, also in portions of Nebraska, Colorado, and also northern areas of Kansas. Damaging winds. (5% in Maine, Casper, Wyoming, down into portion of Lubbock, and also eastern New Mexico. There's that significant area of damaging winds in central from around McCoby to Cook, and it's stretching in Nebraska. Liberal, you're included in that 15% risk area. Alright, large hail. There it is from Rapid City down to eastern New Mexico and the Amarillo area. There's a significant large hail from Cook northward, around Colby southward. You just probably maybe quarter size hail, maybe a little larger to the north. Alright, now let's move on to day number 3. This is your Monday outlook. Okay, we got marginal risk from Maine all the way down to Buffalo, New York. Then again from Liberal to Garden City to Grand Forks and Fargo, North Dakota. General thunderstorms over in portion of northern California and also portion of Oregon. From North Dakota to Texas to Florida to the Carolinas, all the way back up to eastern Maine, also Fort Wayne. Also in the Memphis and Jackson, Mississippi. You're included in that. The probability is going to look like this. 5 and 15% respectively, but the highest chance of severe weather looks to be over Nebraska and also in the portion of Kansas. Alright, let's move on to the Wilmington Weather Service radar. You can see it here. Here's the precipitation off the shore, rotating thunderstorms and showers back onto the couple bands of showers and storms. You can see one stretching from all the way up here near Williamston, all the way to Greensboro, to Fayetteville, to Sherrill, also portion of Kershaw County. You're getting some shower activity there as well, east of Sumter. Another band stretching from up here near Morehead City to Wilmington to Myrtle Beach, also to Georgetown to Charleston. Got some scattered activity there, but more intense heavy rain offshore just southeast of Wilmington, North Carolina, and Myrtle Beach. The system will continue to push on off to the west-northwest. This is where I'm talking about. Anywhere from Charleston to Myrtle Beach, landfall should occur with Chantal. All this precipitation here, it's got to move inland, and then it's got to rotate around the center of low pressure. So anybody in this area here could get some heavy precipitation out of this system. So, alright, well, hope everybody continues to stay safe and well. Stay safe during this storm. Would not be surprised to see some flooding issues across northeastern South Carolina, eastern North Carolina from this system. Could be some flash flooding. Could lead to some rivers rising. Could be some water rescues as well, depending on what location, how much rain falls, depending how hard the rainfall rates is. So we'll continue to monitor that and see. Hope everybody has a wonderful evening. Take care and also enjoy the weather, because it's the only weather you got. And we'll have another update tomorrow evening and see what happens to Chantal. Have a good one, everyone. Take care, and we'll catch you back in the next one, and enjoy the weather, because it's the only weather you got.